Senator Cornyn slams Smithsonian for political bias in exhibits. Exposed, a top senator claims America's greatest museum has lost its way. U.S. Senator John Cornyn didn't hold back in a speech delivered July 17, 2025, when he publicly took aim at the Smithsonian Institution. According to Cornyn, the Smithsonian's world-class museums, meant to celebrate innovation, scientific breakthroughs, and cultural achievements, are veering into territory more at home on a campaign trail than in a classroom. He argues that instead of spotlighting America's proudest moments, the exhibits are pushing partisan narratives, most notably on climate change, and even tackling topics he considers inappropriate for young visitors. But here's where it gets controversial. Cornyn reminded his audience that the Smithsonian is largely government-funded and overseen by Congress, yet he believes it strayed from its founding mission. He pointed to past debates, like the decision to omit Justice Clarence Thomas from certain displays, as evidence that political considerations are outweighing historical accuracy. In his view, federal institutions should stick to hard facts and shared heritage, not become platforms for modern ideology. And this is the part most people miss. With major national milestones on the horizon, Cornyn urged the Smithsonian to realign its exhibitions with universally celebrated American ideals, innovation, freedom and unity, rather than divisive talking points. He wants museums to inspire visitors of all ages by highlighting stories of perseverance and ingenuity without slipping into political commentary. Disclaimer: this summary was created by an AI tool. While we strive for accuracy, mistakes can happen. For the full original press release, visit Cornyn's official Senate website. John Cornyn's personal finances. As of July 17, 2025, Quiver Quantitative estimates Senator Cornyn's net worth at $1.4 million, placing him 256th among all members of Congress. Notably, our data shows zero holdings in publicly traded securities, though you can monitor any updates on his profile at Quiver Quantitative. Recent legislative proposals by Senator Cornyn. Here are 6 bills Cornyn has introduced in the current session. S.2242 requires the Director of National Intelligence to develop a plan for enhanced counter-narcotics collaboration with Mexico. S.2227 seeks to eliminate the statute of limitations for specific offenses. S.2194 Intelligence Community Technology Bridge Act of 2025 aims to accelerate technology transfers to federal intelligence agencies. S.2132 Clear Path Act focuses on improving veterans' access to educational resources. S.2014 Special District Fairness and Accessibility Act addresses voting rights in special jurisdictions. S.2008 Stop Funding Genital Mutilation Act proposes to cut U.S. support for programs linked to female genital mutilation. Track these and other legislative efforts on Quiver Quantitative Senator Cornyn page. Q2 fundraising highlights. In his July 15, 2025 FEC filing, Cornyn reported $674.8 thousand raised in the second quarter, ranked 95th among all political figures so far this year, with 75.1% of contributions coming from individual donors. He spent $484.1 thousand during the same period, 89th most, and ended Q2 with $5.9 million in cash on hand, 39th highest. You can view the full disclosure document or follow his fundraising details online. What do you think? Should the Smithsonian stick strictly to education and historical celebration, or is it appropriate for national museums to address current political debates? Do decisions like omitting certain figures from exhibits help maintain neutrality, or do they risk rewriting history? Share your thoughts and let's discuss. Senator Cornyn criticizes Smithsonian's political stance, news and politics. Bold questions arise when a once-respected institution seems to lose its way. This is exactly the concern U.S. Senator John Cornyn, Republican Texas, raised while addressing the floor today. Senator Cornyn didn't hold back in criticizing the Smithsonian Institution's network of 21 museums, accusing them of abandoning their core mission by engaging in political posturing and catering to a left-leaning agenda. He emphasized that rather than impartially celebrating the achievements of extraordinary Americans and educating the public about the natural world, the Smithsonian has drifted into controversial territory. But here's where it gets controversial. Cornyn claims these museums now promote guilt around topics like climate change to children and include material not suited for younger audiences. It's not just about what the Smithsonian chooses to spotlight. Senator Cornyn stresses that it's equally troubling what they omit. A prime example he cited was the Smithsonian's initial decision to exclude Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas from an exhibit at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Instead, the exhibit focused solely on Anita Hill, a move that Cornyn called a stain on the Smithsonian, one he vowed never to forget. Responding to this exclusion, Cornyn introduced a resolution urging the museum to properly acknowledge Justice Thomas's impactful judicial service. Eventually, public pressure led to Thomas's inclusion, but the incident remains a flashpoint in the debate over how history is presented and who gets recognized. The issue also touches on a deeper, often overlooked question: is the Smithsonian truly an independent institution, or is it effectively a government entity? Senator Cornyn points out that although some argue the Smithsonian operates independently, the reality is more complex. Since the institution relies heavily on congressional funding and is overseen by a board composed of government officials, it functions in many respects as a governmental body. This is not just an opinion. The Smithsonian itself has repeatedly acknowledged its governmental status in legal battles. For instance, in the court case Raven v. Saget, a federal court ruled decisively that the Smithsonian is a government institution through and through, reinforcing the notion of its public accountability. As America approaches its monumental 250th anniversary, Senator Cornyn made a heartfelt appeal to the Smithsonian to reflect on its origins and to realign with the founding principles celebrated in the very documents displayed throughout its halls. His call serves as a reminder of the responsibility these museums carry, to educate all Americans fairly and truthfully about their shared history and heritage. So, what do you think? Should the Smithsonian strive to be a politically neutral storyteller of history and science, or is it inevitable, and maybe even necessary, that it reflects contemporary political debates? Are museums the right place for pushing particular narratives, or should they focus solely on educating without ideology? Join the conversation and share your viewpoint, because this debate about the Smithsonian's role is far from settled.